What's that distance? 4?
Huh?
4 hours?
Outside of Jackson, Tennessee.
Jackson's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours, right?
Jackson, Tennessee's like 45 minutes.
No, even closer.
Yeah.
I always just pass through it on the way to Nashville.
Get on the other side of Jackson would have been tough also. But yeah, it's hard to evacuate, man. I don't know. Also, like, I don't know what she do about her, like, mom, for instance.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other piece of it.
Because like, she can't leave. She doesn't have the ability to do so. So what's going on there? We should probably sit down and talk. It's been a while since we've had one of these talks where it's like, hey, stuff pops off, all hell breaks loose. Here's the game plan.
Yeah.
And probably need to have that same talk and involve like her extended family and stuff like
We've
that.
done it.
Y'all have?
I have printed out directions to both of my parents' homes.
Oh, you told me
One in Denver, one in Seattle.
You told me.
Just in case.
Just in case.
I did it during COVID.
But like,
I got all nervous. I was like, what if the internet someday doesn't work? I can't even get to work without putting in the directions on
I've
Google
ridden
Maps,
with
okay?
I've ridden with you. It's
Yeah,
like, okay,
you get it. I've been to places 20 plus times and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So, just some written directions.
You just
little MapQuest days.
To get to Denver, you just get in the car and go that way.
What way? I would end up in South Carolina.
Well, you're going the wrong way, Jessica.
Well, that's not my fault. I've never had good directional sense, ever.
But you know, hey, I'm in Alabama. I must be going the wrong way, right?
I mean, you would think
that, don't you?
You would think so.
What was the song today?
There were nights when the wind was so cold. It's all coming back to me, Celine Dion.
Oh, okay.
When you touch me like this.
Oh, that's that one. When you love me like that.
Da 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 da. It's all coming back to me.
When
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Cause it's all coming back to
I didn't know
me
that's what she was.
now.
I didn't know that's what she was saying.
I don't know half the lyrics, but I know the very beginning is, there were nights when the wind. That's all I've got for you. And it's all coming back to me. It's a good day to start with Celine Dion, because the Memphis Grizzlies, it's all coming back to me, you know? One preseason game. What a preseason game it was, CJ.
It was a
I know you loved every
preseason
minute of
game.
it.
Oh my gosh, it was incredible.
There's so much to talk about
It
from the
was
first
incredible.
preseason game. There actually is quite a bit to talk about from the first preseason
Calm
game.
down.
It was the first preseason game. Can I interest you in talking about the preseason game? What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday, October 8th. Gonna be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, the Memphis Grizzlies are 1-0 in the preseason. Ja Morant gave us a bit of a fright. We'll get an update on him. Grizzlies get the win. That doesn't matter, but we will go through the things that did matter from the Grizzlies preseason debut. Mike Wallace was there in Dallas. He will join us in the second segment. The Chiefs just keep winning. They're 5-0. We'll get into Monday Night Football action and their win over the Saints, and we'll end with a little TV Tuesday. What we're watching, SNL season 50 continues onward. We're making it through the week one day at a time. You know what we say. Ja?
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account.
Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd.
Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
If I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got, pretty deep into the season, fourth game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming,
right.
I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore.
Right.
These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5 point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Feels great to feel the sunshine. Gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out. Let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling of having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What is up? What is up, everybody? Thanks for joining us this morning, this Tuesday, after the Memphis Grizzlies started their preseason with a win. CJ, you know what they say. You know what they say. You can't win all 87 if you don't win the first preseason game. And by 87, I mean 82 of the regular season, 5 of the preseason, and that's not even putting into account whatever you do in the postseason. But the Memphis Grizzlies 1-0 in the preseason after beating the Dallas Mavericks 121-116 in a game that, let's be perfectly clear, does not actually matter. But plenty of things happened in the game that did matter.
It's a Grizzlies win.
Where's the streamers?
The streamers?
We have bags of balloons for a reason.
Want me to go get them?
No, then we have to pick them up.
Where are the highlights?
I know.
Where are the highlights? The Grizzlies won, Jessica.
I know.
We love the preseason, Jessica. Where are the highlights, Jessica?
The highlights are in my heart.
Oh, come on.
The highlights are in my heart. Well, it felt like most importantly.
It doesn't count if there are no Jessica Benson highlights. It doesn't count.
And y'all are going to have to wait till October 23rd because I'm not in season form yet. The most important thing from last night's game, certainly not the win over the Dallas Mavericks, who did not play with Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, or Klay Thompson. The Dallas Mavericks seemed to have a little less interest in actually winning the first preseason game, which I don't know why you would do that. It was on television. It was on Amazon Prime, free trial for League Pass. If you are like me and signed up for a free trial for League Pass on Amazon Prime last night, may I suggest you go in and unsubscribe. Don't get caught.
Good job.
Yes, and you can keep it. I don't know if one of the other games, obviously the 2 Grizzlies home games are on Bally's, and the Grizzlies game at the Pacers is on Bally's. So you're good there. You're covered there. There's one other preseason game. Maybe you need that. But you could cancel League Pass today, and it'll still work for the whole 7-day trial. So the more you know. The more you know, Ja Morant says he's good, okay? Let's just get it out of the way. Ja Morant, from his mouth, says he is all good.
Oh, no.
Do you think that makes people feel better?
No, it doesn't.
Of course not, because people are irrational.
Kip is one of the more calm, even-minded people in the chat. He's resigned himself to it being an injury-riddled season. That's his words, his exact words. Trying
Listen,
to talk
I can't fault.
trying to talk him off of the Mississippi Bridge. Trying to talk him off. What's the Big M
do
Bridge?
that.
I'm trying to talk him off of it. He's finna take the jump.
Who was the celebrity who just saved someone from jumping off the bridge in
Bon
Nashville?
Jovi?
I think it was Bon Jovi.
Okay, yeah.
Call up Bon Jovi and keep Grizzlies fans
Trying to keep him off the.
cautious, because at this
River
moment,
crossing.
the Mavs tried to take out Ja Morant. They threw the ball at his
Oh, that's
ankle.
how he
I
turned
saw
his
it with
ankle?
my own eyes. You clearly didn't sign up for the League Pass free trial.
Obviously, I didn't.
You didn't.
Wait, so the ball just hits his ankle?
Yeah, I
He
hate
didn't.
when
He
that
didn't
happens.
step on it. It just hit
right,
it.
right here. Pew! Looks intentional to me.
Okay. And then
Looks
once he hit
intentional
it,
to me.
turned it
He
a
hits
little
it, he
bit.
turns it afterwards.
Yeah.
So you would think, or at least I thought, when this happened, well, that's it for Ja Morant the rest
What
of the
a
preseason.
weird way to roll
that's
your
all
ankle.
for Ja Morant. It was a super bizarro way to roll the ankle. And I can't understand, because it was so weird, the immediate reaction and seeing him walk back to the locker room. I tweeted like the PTSD settling in with a gif of Margot Robbie crying in the Barbie movie. But it takes you back to last season. And that's a very fair response to have, because those of us who witnessed and experienced last season of the Memphis Grizzlies live and in person, like, it was something that people would like to quickly forget. And to see Ja Morant, of all people, walking back to the locker room, you're like, ugh, it hurts my heart, it hurts my stomach, it hurts everything.
What are you actually supposed to do about that?
What do you mean?
Like, there's nothing that
When
can
someone
be,
throws a ball at your
there's
ankle?
I've never seen that happen. I don't think I've ever seen an ankle rolled that way.
Well,
there's nothing you can do.
See, that's so Grizzlies. There's a first for everything. Remember Marcus Smart hitting himself in the head
And
breaking his
dislocating
finger?
his
Not
finger?
breaking, dislocating his finger. Anyway, Ja Morant came back, which I did not love. I want to be clear. Did not love Ja Morant coming back in a preseason game, while I certainly appreciate the respect of the game and as a big, big fan of the preseason and respecter of the preseason, the fact that he wanted to get back out there and help this team with a win. But you have the ankle turn, and I was like, I don't need to see you tonight. I don't need to see you the rest of the preseason. He comes back in, he goes up for a dunk, comes down, the ankle's clearly still bothering him, and at that point he leaves the game for good. But he did say, in his own words, he is all good. Taylor Jenkins said it was a minor tweak and not a significant concern. So I just want to say it one more time. Ja Morant says he's all good. Taylor Jenkins says minor concern, minor tweak. It's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to be great. And before he left the game, we did get to see our very first Ja Morant to Zach Edey lob. So that was fun.
Or like third or fourth Ja Morant to Zach Edey lob?
In a game.
Okay.
This isn't the SMU women's basketball practice
I'm
gym.
just saying, we saw them do a lot of this in that SMU practice video.
In-game action, a.k.a. preseason game action. Oh, look at this. Look at Zach Edey.
Oh.
He moves.
Zach flying through the air
He
a little bit.
flies.
Just a little bit.
I do appreciate, even, like, he gets up, and when you take a freeze frame of that dunk, like, just the sheer size of him in elevation and how tall he looks to be off the ground. But when you look at, like, the feet to ground ratio, he barely has to jump. Like, it's insane to watch the lack of hops that Zach Edey needs to have to throw down a dunk. We would expect to see many more instances of Ja to Zach Edey. I was already looking forward to the electricity in FedEx Forum when it happens here at home. I was hoping maybe that could occur on Thursday against the Charlotte Hornets. I would not expect to see Ja Morant, and again, I want to be clear, I don't need to see Ja Morant the rest of the preseason, even though it is fun to see the Grizzlies starters outside of Jaren Jackson Jr. last night, who is still dealing with the hamstring strain that he had happened during training camp. But what stood out last night, for one, was just the depth that the Grizzlies still have with no Jaren Jackson Jr., with no Gigi Jackson, with no Vince Williams. Like, they still were able to roll 10 deep in a preseason game with pretty good lineups throughout the entirety of it. And seeing Zach Edey, we'll start with him because everyone was excited to see Zach Edey in a Grizzlies uniform playing a game for the first time. And he did have the lob. In the first, 2 minutes, just the impact of Zach Edey and what he can do for this team defensively, I thought was fun to see. Like, just his impact being in the paint. He is a big man. He is 7'4". Did he have 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes? Yeah, sure. But it's his first NBA preseason action. He had a block, just affecting players going into the paint. We also saw him switch out onto the wing and held his own out there. I think it will just continue to get better for Zach Edey, but it was Fun to see. 18 minutes, 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting, 7 rebounds, a block, 3 turnovers, 5 fouls.
Oh, that's great. That's what you.
I don't need any more.
I think that's what you need him to
Sure.
do all year long. Is
Sure.
that right there? How many rebounds? 7?
7.
And blocks?
3. Or, no, 1. 1 block.
I was gonna say 7 and 3.
That'd be insane.
7 and 3.
That would be
man
wild.
Might be in the run for defensive player of the year.
That would be
I
wild.
think that's what you need. I unfortunately was unable to lay my eyes on such a fantastic game 1 of the preseason contest. What did that offense look like? Were we doing? Did you
A lot of
did we-
movement.
Any ball
A
screens? No
lot
ball
of movement.
screens?
A lot of
Off
screens, a
ball
lot of
screens?
cuts, a lot of ball movement, a lot of off-ball movement.
But
I look forward
ball
to
screens in particular,
Yeah,
were there were
a
still
ton.
ball screens? Okay.
Yes. There was a little bit of everything. And I thought it was interesting, even both from the new offense and then also some of the lineups that we saw. Like Zach Edey started the game. Zach Edey did not start the second half. Brandon Clark started the second half at the 5. And we also even saw like a super small lineup of Brandon Clark at the 5 where it was Brandon Clark along with Ja, Smart, Bane, and Kennard, which was intriguing. Like, this is the preseason, and you can just throw stuff out there. But perhaps even if there was some time where they went with Zach Edey and a super small lineup around him, there's just so much versatility that you can do. Brandon Clark was tremendous last night. Like, any fear that I or others had in Brandon Clark coming off of his Achilles injury, and yes, you saw him briefly last season. You're like, great, he can still jump, he can still get up, that's wonderful, but what can he look like in the entirety of a season? Last night, he looked 100%. Like his ability to get to the basket, he had some nice moves down low. He still has his signature floater. He also took 5 threes. Took 5 threes for the Grizzlies last night and made 2 of them. I don't need to see him shoot 100 threes, but I think it was kind of a flashback to rookie season Brandon Clark, where he maybe flashed that 3-point shot a little bit more. Those were positives from the Grizzlies' front court and their front court depth, and gives them a little bit more. Also, Brandon Clark's chemistry with Scottie Pippen Jr., it kind of sent me back to when we used to call Brandon and Tyus Jones the Boost brothers, or it was Brandon and D'Anthony Melton were the Boost brothers, but Brandon Clark and working with Tyus Jones from the backup point guard role, seeing how that could transpire with Scottie Pippen Jr., and like I have been stamping for Scottie Pippen Jr., many have. The easiest thing the Grizzlies can do is to use their additional roster spot and to sign Scottie Pippen Jr. to a full contract and take him off the 2-way. And last night only further confirmed my comfortability with Scottie Pippen Jr. serving as that primary backup role for the point guard position.
When the Grizzlies went small with Brandon Clark at the 5, I'm assuming Marcus Smart was the 4?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I like that. Because we've seen Marcus Smart in years past guard small ball 4s.
Yeah.
And do a good job. He is short. What's Marcus Smart? 6'3", 6'4", but he is a feisty defender down there on the block and does a good enough job boxing out and getting the rebound, which would be my only concern going small like that. But yeah, that is fun to stop and think about for just a moment.
It was. And Marcus Smart, listen, I'm not going to tout plus minus in a preseason game.
Here we go.
But
But
Marcus Smart was a team high plus 15 in the game. He didn't do much offensively. 0-3. His only points came from the free throw line where he was 6 of 7. But
you don't need
Marcus Smart
to do
exactly.
that. If you need Marcus Smart to be a primary scorer, then that probably means a lot of guys are down injured, right?
Yes.
Luke Kennard can score with that second unit. G.G. Jackson, when he comes back, can score with that second unit.
Yes.
Vince Williams Jr., spot up 3-point shooter, can score with that second unit. What you need with that second unit is a facilitator. And I think Marcus Smart does that really, really well. And then with the starters, you know what it is with the starters.
Jake LaRavia, 14 points
Are
on
we
4 of
talking
6
some
shooting.
LaRavia preseason?
You want to know who I want to talk about preseason? Jalen Wells.
Oh,
you looked me dead in the eye yesterday and mocked me for daring to have takeaways from the Grizzlies open practice. Legitimate takeaways from the Memphis Grizzlies open practice.
Yeah,
and that
'cause you're a
takeaway was going to be
psychopath.
that, yes, I am a psychopath. Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've ever said.
Takeaways from an open practice.
Jalen Wells continues. I just think the confidence of Jalen Wells is huge.
Because he came in second in the gotcha contest?
He came in first in the skills contest. Thank you very much.
Because he came in first in the skills contest and second in the knockout contest?
Well, what I actually liked was seeing him in the fourth quarter of the game last night for the Memphis Grizzlies, and he had 3 threes in the fourth quarter, including the dagger off a beautissimo pass from Yuki Kawamura. Were we on to something? Ow. It's too early. Were we on to something with Yuki Kawamura being, this is the official show, this is the Jessica Benson show with CJ Hurt, who loves Yuki Kawamura? It's a work in progress. We'll work on the title. We got to work this.
We've got to redo the graphic.
With Yuki Kawamura.
And we got to put Pesto up there and Mudang up there. We've got to rework the logo.
And Yuki Kawamura.
I said Yuki.
I know. I was just emphasizing. Because I can't say his name enough. I love him. Like, I know. Speaking of confidence from 3, I know that 5'8" Yuki Kawamura is not going to be on the Memphis Grizzlies. And I
don't know that.
I know that when and if Scottie Pippen Jr. is bumped up to a full-time contract and the Grizzlies have a two-way spot to fill, like, they need to use that on somebody who they feel could play meaningful minutes for their team. But by God, do I wish that was 5'8" Yuki Kawamura.
Do you not feel like Yuki can do that?
He's got the vision. He's got the burst. I mean, some of those passes last night were the one to Jalen Wells for the dagger that put the Grizzlies up 7 late. Like, the little no-look off the rebound. He's got flair. He's got excitement. And by God, my notifications are nothing but Japanese because the people love him. Love Yuki Kawamura. But back to Jalen Wells, because I did want to give him some credit as well. He's not afraid to shoot. And within this team, you want guys who can knock down the shot. And Jalen Wells, a rookie, absolutely, but somebody who could have some more run than expected because of the injuries at the wing early in the season. You saw it. He was 4 of 11 overall, but he was successful in the fourth quarter for the Grizzlies last night. We'll talk to Mike Wallace after a quick break because he was in Dallas at last night's Grizzlies preseason win over the Mavs. We'll get his thoughts on the new look offense from the Grizzlies. We'll make sure that he confirms Ja Morant is okay. Just a little ankle sprain. What can you do when someone throws a ball at your legs? What can you do? I would trip and fall on my face. He was up. He just sprained the ankle a bit. A little ankle roll. We'll talk to Mike Wallace when we come back.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GBWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Number 9 is going to go into the rafters this year, and so make sure if you don't have tickets already, go grab those.
Okay,
March 15th, you know the night now.
Yo,
Tony Allen, Jersey retirement night. You got a big-time night, too. A Saturday night against Miami this is a great one.
That's lit. That's lit, man. Big shout out.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got pretty deep into the season, fourth game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming, I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore. These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. It is Tuesday. That means it is time to be joined by Mike Wallace, senior editor at Grind City Media, and he was in the building for the Grizzlies preseason win over the Mavs last night. Mike, where are you now?
Oh, no, I'm back in Memphis now.
You're back home. You move fast.
Back in chilly 52-degree weather, Memphis, so it's all good. I went from
Feels like fall.
It feels like almost winter, really, but, hey.
Mike, it sounds like you're complaining. Ain't you from D.C., dog? You used to the cold.
Hey, man, listen, I left D.C. at age 18. I've been a Southerner for the last 40 years of my life. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good. But no, man, this is my kind of weather, though. I love this kind of weather right here in this pocket. It starts off in the 50s. It ends up at about 75. I can take this every day of the year.
I agree. That's my sweet spot. And I was going to complain when I came in this morning because I was chilly walking to my car this morning. And I looked at the temperature and saw it was 50 degrees. And I said, I can't complain yet about 50 degrees. But then I looked at the weather for next week, and it's supposed to get into the 60s and drop down into the 40s overnight. And that's when I'm allowed to come in and say, oh, I'm so cold at this time. Nothing cold about the Grizzlies last night, Mike. Let's start with the most important thing coming out of last night's game in Dallas. Ja Morant says he is all good. You had the opportunity to speak with him after the game. We obviously saw him leave the game twice, ultimately leaving for good after coming back that second time and going up for the dunk coming down. Seemed like that ankle was still giving him some trouble. But what did you see from Ja, and what's the plan moving forward through the rest of the preseason?
Yeah, it was a big time scare, obviously, when you see Ja go down like that. The first time, the ball, was thrown in transition and it hit his foot and caused his foot to buckle as he was trying to find his footing on defense. And but he stayed in the game. He went out and then he came back and tried to really loosen it up a little bit. So I don't fault him for that. It is the preseason. A lot of people say, hey, why even risk it? Why go back out there at that time? But Ja knows his body. The medical team obviously put him through some tests and felt like it was okay for him to go try it, and he wanted to do it. He's not, and that's where Ja is mentally right now. He's not taking anything for granted when he has a chance to be on the floor. The offense is trying to get installed. He's trying to get a rhythm with his new teammates. He wants to be out there as much as possible. So I give him credit for that. They will have some imaging and those kind of things done today now that they're back in Memphis. But Ja, left no doubt that his ankle felt fine. He walked out of the arena okay. He didn't seem like he was limping. He didn't have a walking boot or anything like that, from what I understand. And I saw him both after the game and as he was getting onto the bus. And he insisted, "Hey, I'm good, man. Don't worry about this. Don't even ask me about it. We'll take it from here."
I think you bring up a good point on the gratitude side of things, because it's very easy for everybody to sit at home thinking this game doesn't matter. But for Ja, like, every game matters to him right now after how last season went, having to start with the 25-game suspension and then only playing 9 games before having season-ending surgery. Like, he's just happy and thrilled to be back out on the court. So I can certainly understand the mentality of, man, I'm not sitting out this one. Sure, it's just a preseason game, but this is my opportunity to be on the court with my teammates for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, and he operated, Jessica, you guys watched that game too. I mean, he operated at a different speed than everybody else, including the Mavericks. Like, he was exploiting mismatches. He was getting to areas on the court. He looked like he was regular season form Ja. And that's just the kind of dynamic player that he is. He's, even when everyone is on the same level, he just elevates himself a little bit. He gets to spaces that, you know, most humans can't get to. Right. He has court vision that no one else can be able to, you know, no one else can see.
Oh, it's frozen.
Oh, it's frozen. Well, when he said he elevates to places that others don't get to, as we try to get back to Mike, we obviously showed the Ja to Edie lob, which was probably the highlight of opening night, just in terms of what people most were anticipating the opportunity to see. They get it in the first preseason game. That block by Ja in the second quarter on Najee Marshall, like, the athleticism on display from Ja Morant was, once again, we see it constantly, but I never get tired of it. I never get less surprised of just what his body is capable of doing. And to be able to jump up and get that block based on the player that Ja Morant is, was yet another, like, mesmerizing example of Ja Morant, the basketball player.
That's why people have such a strong affinity towards Ja, because he's giving you plays like that block. Something just spectacular, phenomenal, jaw-dropping, something that gets you up out of your seat no matter who you're cheering for. He gives that to you, 3-4 times a game?
Even in a preseason game.
In addition to being a really good player the rest of the time, right? Like, think about all the moments that Ja has given basketball fans already in his young career, right? That block reminded me, when I saw the pictures of it, it reminded me of the block against the Lakers, where he's two-handed, almost at the top of the backboard, pinning the ball, taking it, and then running back down the court. Remember the last second shot against the clock, I think, in a quarter, Steven Adams throws the pass. Ja Morant just catches, turns, and fires all in the air, right? Like, Ja Morant is a special athlete in a league full of special athletes. For him to go out there in a preseason game and play and give us a moment like that one, like that block, Jessica, that you mentioned, it just speaks to what type of basketball player he is and why NBA fans everywhere are so excited that he's back healthy and ready to go.
Very much a he's back moment. I saw a lot of that on social media. Mike, the new look Grizzlies offense. We talked a little bit about it in the first segment, but you were there with your own eyes. What did you see? What stood out?
Turnovers, right? Work in progress. You know, that's the first and foremost
thing.
They
move so fast.
At one point, those guys were at, you know, I apologize if I'm having some connectivity issues here, but at one point, you know, I looked down at the stat sheet and I was like, man, they have 23 turnovers, which they ended the game with, and they still got up more than 80 shots, right? So that tells you the possessions and the pace that they're playing at, and they still found a way to win that game. So it's a lot of work. It's work in progress. There's some kinks to work out. Ja plays at one speed. The rest of the team has to get up to his level of speed, or he has to take a half a step off the gas and slow down just enough so everyone can be in line. They're playing so fast. It's catch and shoot. It's a lot of transition. One of the things Taylor Jenkins said is that, you know, pace can be quantified, by numbers, but they need to have pace as a mentality. And when he said that, it really clicked and it resonated, and it made me see the offense in a different light. Guys are speeding up. They're trying to turn defense into offense as fast as possible, but you don't want to rush. You want to play at a deliberate pace, but you don't want to rush. And I think that's what's going to be part of the adjustment as we get through this preseason plan. It's far from a finished product, but you did see some progress in terms of how they want to play.
To quote the great John Wooden, be quick.
That's what I was going to say.
But don't hurry. I love the
That was one of my midterm answers on one of my first freshman year. You had to name 5 Woodenisms.
Yeah.
And that was one of the easiest and shortest. Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
That was one.
Those are the two that I always remember. I could go back and find them because the Woodenisms never never go out of style. But Mike,
activity and achievement.
Yes. 23 turnovers, but 35 assists for the Grizzlies last night, too, which was also indicative of what they're trying to get going with that offense. Curious your thoughts on Zach Edey, who started the game, did not start the second half, ultimately plays 18 minutes last night, had 6 points, 7 rebounds, a steal, a block, and 5 fouls. Your early impressions on him following his first preseason game?
I talked to him. He was the last player to leave the locker room last night. He took his time. He actually went through a workout after the game for his conditioning because that's important. Like what he does on the floor during those 18 minutes is one thing, but it's an ongoing process when you talk about getting a 7'4", 290-pound body capable of going up and down at the pace that the Grizzlies are trying to go. So, it was a full night for him. Even though he only played 18 minutes, he put in probably a 40-minute workout after the game. So basically, he was going to be hard on himself. He knows that the foul trouble is something that he's going to have to work on. He's got to move his legs more so than his arms. He knows that because of his range and his length and width, that it's not going to be easy to officiate him. And anytime that there's contact against him, he's supposed to be able to absorb it. But when he hits somebody else or he's in the physicality, it's going to be called. So that's an adjustment for him as well, too. But one of the things that I pointed out, and I'm going to have this in my piece, my mic checkup coming on Grind City Media later today, he couldn't have asked for a better first test than to go up against an NBA Finals front line when you talk about Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively. Those guys were in the NBA Finals as bigs. They're stretchable. They do a lot of activity around the basket. They run. And so if Zach Edey is going to make the adjustment to the NBA, this was a hey, welcome to the NBA moment for him last night.
Mike, just super random question. You talk about the Edey 7'4" and 290. Does he do any of the weird stretches that Wembanyama does pregame? Because that's what I think of when I think of the frame of those dudes. Like Wemby, for those of you who don't know, he's out there with no shoes on, bear crawling, doing weird body motions to try and get his body ready to play. Does Edey do any of that pregame?
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I haven't seen Zach Edey's full workout regimen the way we saw Wembanyama's that time, because he did it right in the middle of the court before the game when they played the Grizzlies. We saw all the dynamic things that they but yes, with Zach, it's more of a core issue. It's more of a conditioning and make sure he's moving his feet. It's more agility, more so than strength. I think Wemby his workout was focused on strength and being able to take a beating and being able to understand that those limbs are so nimble. Zach Edey is a solid dude, man. Like he's not skinny by any stretch. His base is strong. His arms are strong. It's more about, hey, can I get this heart rate up? Can I keep it up? Can I go from one end to the other in transition without getting fatigued? And we saw 3 minutes into that game, all 10 players had their hand on their shorts 3 minutes in. And they were like, hold on, slow this down. And it's going to take a lot. You can't just figure that out in one game. This is going to be a process throughout the next 4 games of the preseason. I will say this, though. You hadn't asked me about it, Jessica, but I'm assuming it's coming next. I'm going to beat you to the punch. Jaren Jackson Jr. looks ready. He looks fine.
Yeah.
He did an extended workout before the game, so it's more about, hey, let's build his hamstring back. Let's get that strain eliminated. Let's not try to push him too much. Let's control his movements. But he took some pounding. He went up against 2 or 3 defenders in some mock scrimmaging before the game. So his workout and his shooting was all right there. So he looks like he's good. They just want to continue to take a precaution.
So what you're saying is, Grizzlies fans, you don't got to go off the bridge.
You don't have to go
yet.
nuclear.
Like calm down. Take a deep breath.
I even pointed
Woosah.
out that Gigi's off the scooter and into a boot. So one more good progression forward on the injury front. What I was going to say before we fully move on from Zach Edey, figuring out what his warm-ups look like, but also Devin Walker pointed out he doesn't wear a warm-up shirt, no warm-up jacket. He just came straight out in his uniform, in his warm-ups. He's ready to go. He's ready to go in the game.
That's like Mike Tyson. Remember, back in the day, you probably don't remember that, but Mike Tyson.
No, but I've heard.
Just with shorts. Like he didn't have and a cut-up towel. That's it. He didn't have a robe. He didn't have any of the fancy digs or anything like that. When Zach Edey shows up, he's ready to go in there and play.
I did want to ask you, when it comes to some of the front court looks that we saw, and obviously without Jaren Jackson Jr. in the mix, that affects what the Grizzlies can do this preseason. But seeing Brandon Clark out there at the 5, also saw some experimentation with super small ball with Brandon at the 5 and with Marcus Smart at the 4 in that case. Just what do you see from those variations of front court looks that could give the Grizzlies just a variety of what they roll with, but also that impacts how they can use Zach Edey in different ways here going forward in his first few months as an NBA career?
It's going to continue to be a juggling act. One of the reasons why Zach didn't start the second half was because Taylor wanted to keep him, out of foul trouble. They didn't want him to pick up that 4th and then 5th and then have to sit down. They still wanted to be able to control his rotation a little bit more. And once he got back into the game, he was able to play for the most part up to the minutes that he was going to play. The guys will play, the main frontline guys will play somewhere between 15 and 23, 24 minutes through the first few preseason games that they're available. And then you'll start seeing the rotations trickle in after that. Brandon Clark said, look, everything that he's put into this offseason to get back from that Achilles, he'll play whatever he needs to play, whether it's the 4, the 5, the 1. He made some threes. I actually talked to him after the game about, how making those threes and taking those threes takes him back to his second season in the NBA. Where that was a focus. And he said now this year is about putting together his entire game. He has the bounce. Marcus Smart hit him with a great pocket pass with the pogo stick floater at the dotted line. That's vintage Brandon Clark. You're going to see the lob dunks come as well too. But his ability to stretch and take those threes when they're there, it's the full complement. So he feels like he has the full complement. I do think even with Jaren Jackson Jr. back, they still seem to be a bit small in terms of depth up front. There's not a lot of length there. Gafford came in and dictated some things. When Lively came in against that second unit, it was obvious that they couldn't pretty much hold him back off the offensive glass, and in the paint, he had an impact. I do think the Grizzlies may need to look at adding another big with one of those available roster spots. But it's hard to judge that because Jaren is not there. He's going to eat up a lot of minutes.
Available roster spots. One of those could go to Scottie Pippen Jr., who continues to be on a 2-way, who continues to play in a fashion where I don't mind seeing Scottie Pippen Jr. as the backup point guard for this Grizzlies team. If he were to get bumped up into a full-time NBA contract, do you think they would look to fill that other 2-way with a big? Is that where you're anticipating, or would they look for, the open roster spot for the big?
It becomes a matter of value at that point, right? What's the market dictating right now? Can you get a big for a veterans minimum, and then you use the 15th roster spot, or do you say, okay, let's find another Jemison type guy where you can slot him in the emergency, and you use the 2-way? Yes, Jay Huff is available there. He's 7'1", but he's more of a stretch big. They seem to want to give Jay Huff the benefit of the doubt and the opportunity to fill that role right now. We'll see. It's just hard to go when you saw Zach Edey get in foul trouble and no Jaren Jackson Jr. Yeah. It was a glaring size differential there for the Grizzlies, and that's going to impact rebounding. That's going to impact your ability to keep other teams off the offensive glass as well too, even if you're playing fast. But I love the mismatches. You talked about the lineup combinations. I thought Jake LaRavia at the 3 and the 4 gave him some good opportunities and some good minutes. I like the way the second unit is kind of coming together. Santi Aldama in the second half played much better than he did in the first half. Luke Kennard played some point guard after Ja Morant left the game too. So they're trying to be as multiple and as versatile as possible, initiating the offense with all 5 guys on the floor. And I think we saw some of that in the initial stages. But it's hard to see. The thing about it is that if you're going to go out there for game 1, the Grizzlies showed both promise, but they also showed the progress needed and so much that needs to get cleaned up before Thursday's preseason game 2 against the Hornets.
Mike, am I crazy? Because I feel like CJ keeps giving me side eyes every time I bring up Jalen Wells that I'm crazy. And part of it was because I was connecting his confidence to making threes in open practice. But I think for me, what it really comes down to is seeing the evolution. Like, this is what it's about for rookies, right? Like, we get to see them in Summer League for the first time, and seeing the growth of Jalen Wells from Salt Lake City Summer League to Las Vegas Summer League. He had a game, I think he was 5 of 6 from 3 in one of those games in Vegas, and then to see that carry over even in how he handled, media day and those opening interviews, and then to see him last night come out and make some big threes in the fourth quarter of that game that puts it away. I know there's a variety of ways the Grizzlies can go as they continue to work with the injuries of Gigi and Vince, and Jake LaRavia had a nice game last night too. But do you foresee Jalen Wells perhaps having a bigger role than anticipated early here for the Grizzlies based on what you've seen?
Oh yeah, he's going to earn it, and he's ready to earn it. You saw him come in. He didn't play in the first half at all, right? He came in midway through the second half, and then when he got in there, he took the shots that came to him. He passed up a couple more open shots that he should have taken, and he tried to be more of a facilitator and a playmaker there. But this is a guy that, Jessica, we saw him. I think he threw out the first pitch at a Redbirds game during the summer, and his demeanor and sort of the shyness that he had at that time, he seems like he's grown up so much since then. His confidence, who he is as a player, physically, he's right there. Like, he's listed at 6'6.5". He's more like 6'7", 6'8". He's just so long, and he can have a natural release point on that shot. He gets the shot off against anyone who comes out at him. He's not afraid. I like him, man. I think at a certain point, if you're telling me that this is a reasonable facsimile of Gigi Jackson until Gigi comes back, give me more of Jalen Wells. And then when Gigi is ready, then Gigi's going to have to fight to get that spot back if Jalen Wells steps into it. It's a great problem to have when you have two young guys, similar build, similar mentalities, and they go out there and just attack. I love both of them.
Before we let you go, final question for you.
Yuki time. Come on, Yuki time.
Did Jacob Gilliard walk so Yuki Kawamura could run from one 5'8" guard to another 5'8" guard? Just what have you seen being around Yuki Kawamura? I know you were, in Nashville at training camp. Now seeing him last night, he had 5 points in 9 minutes, but impacted the game in a variety of ways. 3 assists, really nice find to Jalen Wells for that dagger 3. And for us and many, they're falling in love with Yuki Kawamura early as one of the fun preseason storylines for the Grizzlies.
He is so much fun to be around, and he understands what he brings to this opportunity, right? The way he manages himself, the way he conducts himself around his teammates, he's endearing himself to them. He's going in and attacking guys. There was one point where he went in there against the 7'5" guy, Sharp. And I mean, he got his shot blocked, but he was not afraid to go down there. And that reminded me of what Zach Edey said on the first training camp practice a week ago today. One of the first scrimmage sessions, Yuki went right at Zach Edey. And Zach Edey said, oh, okay, this is how he's playing now. So the fearlessness, the joy, the energy that he plays with, and when he hit that three-pointer in the corner on his first NBA shot, the entire bench and that section behind them stood up and started cheering, man. So, you just root for him. And then, he impressed me at training camp last week because this is a guy that doesn't speak much English, but he wants so badly to make you feel comfortable around him that he's trying every day to build on his English. And he asked for us to interview him in English before he spoke to his Asian assembled media members. So, for him to try, and that video, went viral, for him to try and continue to want to do this, that speaks about who he is on the floor, but also off the court as well, man. Yuki's going to be a phenomenon in Memphis for sure.
He is, like you said, very easy to root for. I am curious. Obviously, the assumed.
And hold on, by the way,
Yes.
and I'm doing this on behalf of Jacob Gilliard because I know if he was here, he would tell you I'm not 5'8", I'm 5'9". So give him his extra inch, man. Give him his extra inch. People slight him so much.
That's not fair. We're early in Yuki Kawamura. Yuki could want to be rounded up to 5'9" too. I don't know the particulars. I know I'm 5'4". I'm actually 5'3 3/4", but I've told everyone I'm 5'4". What if he's actually like 5'8 3/4" and he just rounds down, The U.S. metric system messes us up time and time again. I am curious, do you think that for Yuki Kawamura, if granted the opportunity to play for the Memphis Hustle, is that the obvious choice for him? Could he go back over to Japan and play professionally there? I know there has been, in the reading that I've done of him, like a goal of his has been to play professional basketball in the United States of America. And he hasn't played basketball in America, period, because he didn't play college basketball over here. But would that chance in the G League be enough to keep him over here, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
I think it will be initially. I think you want to prioritize him in the G League if possible. You want to give him a chance to be successful, but he also has to test himself too. He did very, very well in the Olympics, going up against the best athletes in the world, right? But that's only in a 5 or 6 or 7 game space and sample size. If you're in the G League, you're going up against the best athletes, the fastest athletes, guys that just missed the cut from the NBA. So, you know, it's one of those things where he has to test himself. Because can he defend at the NBA level? Can he run an offense at the NBA level? Can he play with, you know, American style offenses and those kind of things? I think he wants to give himself that opportunity. I don't believe that this was, hey, let me go to Memphis Grizzlies training camp, and if I don't make the 17-man roster, I'm out of here. I'm going back to Japan. I think he wants to try to make this thing stick and make it work with at least a run through the G League and then see where it goes from there.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. We'll see you back here for the Grizzlies preseason home game on Thursday.
Absolutely. See you guys then.
That was Mike Wallace. You can read his latest at grindcitymedia.com. He joins us each and every Tuesday. CJ, you know why Yuki Kawamura is fine going up against Zach Edey going right at the bigs, right?
I know, but
because he's been practicing with Kai Soto.
Kai Soto, gotta find a way to get Kai coming through.
Dreams would come true.
Can you imagine it?
Families would be fed.
Can you imagine these families? A lineup with, watch me feed them, Yuki, Kai, and Edey all on the court at the same time?
Please. And throw Jay Huff. Let's just put 3 bigs. 3
Huff
over
in
7-footers in South Haven.
With Yuki running the point?
Now we're just being stupid. That'd be crazy. I will say, I think one of the things that I love, I've never had the luck of being able to travel over to Japan. It's someplace that I would love to go someday. It is towards the top of the bucket list. Chris has been dying to go over there. When we just did our South America trip, I had to convince him to go there instead of taking a trip to Japan. And I know it's a really popular place to visit right now. My mom actually lived in Japan coming out of college. She's taught English in Osaka with one of her friends. And so growing up and knowing her experience there, but within the Japanese culture, just like the politeness that comes out in a variety of ways, and the number of people who have sent me just the sweetest thank you notes for speaking kindly on Yuki Kawamura has been really sweet and has made my day in a variety of ways. Now, there are also a lot of Filipino basketball fans who desperately want Kai Soto to play for the Memphis Hustle at the Landers Center or to have an opportunity over here. But it is fun to see the engagement, and I love when this show and this city with Memphis, Tennessee goes global in instances like this, and to have so much attention from various countries in Asia right now looking at the Grizzlies and looking at the play of Yuki so far has been really, really fun to see. So anyway, Grizzlies win game 1 of the preseason over the Dallas Mavericks. We'll see if they can make it 2-0 when they host the Charlotte Hornets here at FedEx Forum on Thursday. A reminder, that game will be available to watch and stream on Bally's Sports Southeast. We will take a quick break. While the Grizzlies were beating the Mavs last night, the Kansas City Chiefs did it again. They just keep winning. They're going to win it all again, aren't they? We'll talk about it. Chiefs beat the Saints on Monday Night Football. We'll get into the best of last night's game when we come back.
Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Justin Timberlake.
I'm bringing sexy back.
The Forget Tomorrow World Tour. Live in Memphis. Justin Timberlake. FedEx Forum, Saturday, November 23rd. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The brand new single Selfish is available to stream and download now.
So if I get jealous, I can't help it.
For more, hit up justintimberlake.com.
If you were promised by an assistant coach somewhere $100,000 to transfer to a school, and we got, pretty deep into the season, fourth game's coming up, and you still ain't got your money, you walking away like Matt Sluka is at UNLV?
If I'm promised this and the checks aren't coming,
right.
I'm a businessman first, right? Like, forget this academic stuff. These are not student athletes anymore.
Right.
These are paid independent contractors to play football.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5 point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning into HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
We got to talk about the best wrestling that we watched all week. You're up.
I think Brunson Reed and Braun Strowman put on a 5-star match in 60 seconds. I've never seen it happen before. Brunson Reed chunks the fan at Braun. I'm like, where the hell did that dude come from?
I got a tweet saying it's a good thing they're not in Memphis, or else that would have been one of the Memphis wrestling guys getting hurled.
Exactly.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Welcome back. Some breaking news that just happened that regards the University of Memphis and their upcoming game against South Florida. That game was supposed to be played on Friday. The game is now being moved to Saturday because of Hurricane Milton. Game time on Saturday is still to be determined. I'm going to go out on a limb and say game is still to be determined. I know they want to play this game. I know it is an important conference game. I know if you're South Florida, you don't want to lose this game, and it's a home game hosting Memphis. But this Hurricane Milton, if you have not been paying attention, is anticipated to be just devastating for Central Florida and going straight through Tampa, which is where South Florida is. Like, if you look at all of the maps of which areas are expected to be most impacted by Hurricane Milton, Tampa is right up in there. And it is, at this point, as it's been over the Atlantic, one of the fastest rapid intensifications of weather ever recorded in the history of these kind of events. It is currently a Category 5. It is expected to not make landfall as a Category 5. I've seen a lot of misinformation on that. By the time it reaches land, it is anticipated to be downgraded in its classification. However, because we've never seen a storm of this nature, the wind impact, the rain impact, the storm surge impact, just because it doesn't make landfall as a Category 5 doesn't mean that it's not really bad in anticipation. I know there are a ton of evacuation orders. I had some friends who evacuated yesterday or who shared their stories of trying to evacuate yesterday. The traffic getting out of there has been madness. If your car wasn't full of gas, you were waiting for a very long time to fill up your tank. And so it just feels like the least thing of importance right now is a football game. And I know it's only Tuesday, and I believe it's expected to get to Tampa on Wednesday. That's when you'll start to really see the impact of this thing. But yeah, times like this make me wish that we would just cancel games because it's the least important thing in the world. Although I do understand why you are slow to do such a thing.
Yeah, and that's you hit the nail on the head with the proverbial hammer there. Like, I understand why you want to play this game. I understand why you're slow to say, hey, let's cancel it, let's reschedule it for a different week, let's find a different way to make this work. But like at a certain point, some things become much, much larger than your sport, whatever your sport is. And the destruction that this hurricane is projected to cause this feels like one of those times. Is a stadium even going to be there when it's all said and done? I get that it's not going to be a Category 5 when it hits, but it is going to be a Category something or another, and that thing is cutting right through Florida, right through Tampa where you're located. I feel like more of the focus, and not just with this, but all types of various disasters, pandemics, and things of that nature, feel like the thought shouldn't be, hey, the show must go on. Let's find a way to get this event to happen. And it should instead be, hey, what can we do to not only prepare ourselves for what's about to happen, but to help the community around us as well. We need to put all of our attention and all of our focus on the community around us and trying our best to get them out. And if they can't get out, get them safe for this storm, get them hunkered down for this storm, so that we can lose as little life as possible. Not necessarily, hey, let's find a way to make this really important football game happen. The football game is important. Human life is more important.
Right.
I feel like sometimes we forget that part of it.
And some of these communities were just hit by Helene. Like I saw a video last night going through someplace that was adjacent to Tampa that just was completely devastated and so much destruction, and now for another storm of this magnitude to roll through. And you're right, like it's the resources and the attention and the not bringing people who don't need to be there, because the more people there, the more opportunities for things to be disrupted and not to be able to move as orderly as possible in the chaos that comes after a storm like this. Like I've seen people who are still trying to go on their Disney World trips this week. And I get it, Disney World's expensive and you have plans and families want to do fun things, but like going to Disney World to hunker down through Hurricane Milton is not the answer. Like not the choice. If you're already there, sure, you have to figure out ways to make it work. And I've seen that. I believe the Disney hotels are trying to create like safe places for people to go and hunker down and to ride out the storm. But if you're not in Florida right now, like maybe just don't still try to go have your vacation, because it's going to be a really bad week there. But we'll continue to see what that means for Memphis and the South Florida game. But as for now, that will be played on Saturday in Tampa. Last night we had a Monday night football game and the Kansas City Chiefs did it again. They won 26-13 over the Saints. The Chiefs are 5-0. The Chiefs and the Vikings are the last two undefeated teams standing. The Chiefs do trick plays better than anyone. Patrick Mahomes does the scramble special better than anyone. All they do is find ways to win when things are stacked against them. They only scored 2 touchdowns out of their 7 drives. So on 7 drives, they only scored 2 touchdowns. They still win. They can't protect Patrick Mahomes with beans. They still win. They're without a ton of weapons. Rashee Rice now out, without Hollywood Brown, without Isaiah Pacheco. They still win. For those who were so excited, like my dear friend Zoe, whose fantasy football team I helped create in her obsession with making sure Travis Kelce was on that team because she is a Swiftie. The anticipation was that Travis Kelce was going to have a drop-off year. It was just, I think, like 2 weeks ago that we said, is Travis Kelce cooked? Is this the end? And now he is a winner of circumstances because he has every opportunity to still look awesome as he did last night. No one loves the lateral like Travis Kelce.
Travis Kelce, when you have a full complement of receivers, it's, okay, cool, we got this dude hanging out over the middle, but we got Patrick Mahomes. Patrick, throw it to the fast guys on the outside, assuming they can catch the ball. Travis Kelce, when none of those fast guys are around and or receivers are dropping balls, it's okay. Give it to Travis in the middle of the field, Pat. And that's what Patrick does. Patrick Mahomes found Kelce 9 catches, 70 yards yesterday. Like that's what it is right now for this Chiefs team. And how great teams win is by being multiple and dynamic. And you take, because injuries are going to happen. And not only are injuries going to happen, but bad games are going to happen for various players. When that happens, when that player is no longer being able to be used, Rashee Rice or Hollywood Brown or whomever it is for the Chiefs, what are you? Can you adapt and adjust? Can you do that? Can you evolve? And the Chiefs, as long as they have Patrick Mahomes, can. They brought Kareem Hunt back. I told people on the odds couple.
Great.
I told people on the odds couple yesterday, hey, Kareem Hunt over 13 carries and over 50 yards. Bet the player prop.
Got it.
Got it. They leaned on him. 27
As someone
rushes.
who spent all of my fab in fantasy football on Carson Steele, who had another fumble last night, real bummed to see. Yeah, I know. I spent $150 fake on him. Like, come on. It's a sad, sad place to be. But yeah, Kareem Hunt gets placed back in there. And the thing is that game would have been more of a blowout. Like, the final's 26-13. And the reason we were saved from a blowout was because of the brother of one of Taylor Swift's backup dancers. You got that right. Taylor Swift was there last night.
Big guy interception.
Nothing makes me happier than a big boy interception, particularly from a 6', 324-pound Colin Saunders.
You're telling me that's the backup dancer for Taylor Swift's brother?
Okay. When I first read the tweet, let me be clear, because I was watching the Grizzlies preseason game, but they did have a graphics package ready to go when this whole event happened, which is hysterical, because the play before, Colin Saunders tackled Travis Kelce. And so it was, Taylor Swift's backup dancer's brother tackled Taylor Swift's boyfriend in a football game. And then it was, Taylor Swift's backup dancer's brother, Colin Sanders, just tackled her boyfriend Travis Kelce to stop him from scoring a touchdown. Next play, he intercepts Patrick Mahomes in the end zone. J.J. Watt was all of us trying to express this information to our loved ones. I can totally see just the sheer joy of the Swifties universe of placing all of this together. Here's their family. Beautiful family photo. One of these guys is going to be a backup dancer for Taylor Swift. The other is going to have a big boy interception.
I like the fact that they constantly hug each other
I think
like
it's so
this.
sweet. Oh my
Look,
gosh,
every single picture, they're hugged up like this.
That's adorable.
That's wonderful.
I just love watching, in the sport of football, I don't think anything makes me happier than watching someone who is of the sizing of a 6-footer, 324-pound dude getting an interception. Like, it's one of the greatest joys that the sport occasionally gives us. And he was rumbling. When I first saw it, I was like, is he going to go all the way? He does not. He did hit 16 miles per hour on the run. That's fast. That's a big boy going fast. I can't carry that much 16 miles per hour. He could.
I can't carry me 16 miles per hour.
I just find, as an only child, I don't have a sibling, but the different lives that siblings can have. Like, one backup dancer for Taylor Swift specifically. There's a lot of backup dancers who are doing the good backup dancing work, but to get to the point where you're
that seems
Taylor
like
Swift's backup dancer,
backup dancer spot is backup for Taylor Swift.
I would think so.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, you're a professional football player, you're an NFL player, with the opportunity to not just tackle Travis Kelce from preventing a touchdown, but then to pick off Patrick Mahomes. What a beautiful night.
Did you see Taylor's reaction when it happened?
I did.
Oh, it's good stuff.
We're back to the Taylor Swift. You want to know who never wants to see a shot of Taylor Swift again?
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Which is so stupid because
he was in the Taylor Swift shirt?
He was in a Taylor Swift sweatshirt earlier this week, or at least this photo that his girlfriend shared. And I love love. I don't know about you, but I love love, and nothing looks more love-filled than Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
I don't think I've ever seen that man smile.
Well, he is now. He's happy. This is what love will do to you.
I'm looking at his girlfriend. I understand.
He's in the Taylor Swift sweatshirt. He cut the sweatshirt. It's a crew neck sweatshirt. He cut it like he used to cut his Patriots sweatshirts. The man is consistent, if nothing else. But he was on the Manning cast last night, and I watched a little of it, jumping back and forth between the Grizzlies game on my free trial on Amazon Prime. But when they went to Taylor Swift on the cutaway shot, the sigh that came out of Bill Belichick's mouth. And he didn't mention anything else, but I'm like, bro, you were in a Taylor Swift sweatshirt.
But
come on.
He's a football purist. You need to be watching football because of the football on the football field and the football players toting the football. That's why we watch the football. All that extra stuff, Bill Belichick's like, miss me with that.
He was on Pat McAfee yesterday, too, talking football things. He was asked about the picture in the Taylor Swift sweatshirt and asked, well, what sweatshirt do you have on right now? And he was so fast. He was like, I'm in a Husky sweatshirt right now. And because his son is the defensive coordinator at UW, and he was there. Speaking of smiling Bill Belichick, there were all these adorable pictures of their family on the sidelines at the UW game. It has been a very interesting, we always have this happen with just figures in sports who you know as one thing consistently, and especially when they have been so good, like one of the greatest in their profession. And naturally, if that was not your team or the coach of your team, you have a bit of a dislike for this person because chances are they made your life a living hell at some point during their tenure. And now to see Bill Belichick function in this media space, although that man is itching to coach again. You cannot convince me otherwise. He desperately wants an opportunity. Cowboys, if the Cowboys keep losing, he would love nothing more than an opportunity to jump in there and take over and help them get out of the weeds. But between him and Nick Saban, it's been a very weird fall of having to adjust your mentals on them just being smiley guys.
They're people.
Of course they're people. But they're like curmudgeons.
Yeah, they're
serious people.
They're people, and we don't know them like that. Some people keep their joy to themselves, right? Some people keep all of their emotions to themselves and to their loved ones, right? Like if I don't know you, I'm not going to joke with you. I am, because I don't give a damn. I think life is a big ass joke. I love cracking jokes. But like I'm not going to cry in front of everybody. Right? Like, I'm not going to get angry vehemently in front of everybody. There are some emotions that I keep on reserve for the people around me. And with them being as high profile as they are, and you can throw some athletes in there as well. I think you can absolutely throw somebody like a Russell Westbrook into that camp, right? When Barry Bonds was playing, you could throw Barry Bonds in there. It is, I'm doing my job. Y'all are here to watch me do my job. We not finna joke around. We not finna cackle. We not finna key. Here's what you need to know, Mr. Reporter or Mr. Fan or Mrs. Reporter or Mrs. Fan or Miss Fan and Miss Reporter, right? Like, you're welcome. Here's what you need to know to do your job. Now leave me the hell alone. I'm on in Cincinnati. Damn it. How far we've come from on to Cincinnati. I remember when Bill Belichick retired, not retired, when he was announced like, yo, nobody's going to hire him. We talked about it. We were like, okay, I'm trying to find pictures of a smiling Belichick.
Couldn't.
I don't think he smiled when he held the trophy.
No.
All 6 or 7 times, however many times he won it. Now he's out there smiling. The burden of being an NFL coach has got to be unlike that we've ever seen. Because that man is smiling now, and he never smiled as an NFL coach.
No.
It's good stuff.
And he's in a loving relationship.
Jessica, you brought up the lovingness of the relationship.
They look happy. I'm just saying, like, I'm not built for it. Like, I love my husband very much.
80-year-old?
I saw some, but I don't know who said it. But they're like, man, the young women who end up with, because how old is Belichick? Is he
I'm
mid-70s?
gonna guess 73.
I'm gonna guess 75.
I'll look it up, but go ahead.
Belichick. Well, I want to be clear. 72, young 70s.
Okay.
My parents would get mad. Young, barely 70, a titch of 70. The young women who have sustained relationships with men 70 and above, and the generational differences that occur, they're built different. We don't give them enough credit. The sacrifices they make, the elder care, the vintage care that they
you've absolutely got to help that guy around.
Like, he's gonna pull his back someday.
He's got bad joints.
Yeah.
That just comes with age.
Exactly. Like, some foods might not process the way that they once
we're getting
did.
that part.
Like,
sometimes
that's just life. But she's making the ultimate sacrifice for so much money.
so
not
much
saying that.
Both can be true. She can love him and be reaping financial
be very
rewards.
happy with the financial situation that she finds herself in. They just met on. Didn't they meet on a plane?
I don't
Am
know.
I misremembering that? I swear they met on a plane.
I don't know that.
They sat next to each other on an airplane.
Okay, good for her.
And they
Good
fell
for
in
him.
love. So anyway, there's your latest.
Chiefs' run defense is really good. Also,
it is.
You think about what they've
How
done.
fast did the Saints go from "Is this the best team in the NFL?" to "Are the Saints okay?"
If you can hold Alvin Kamara in check.
Yeah.
Now the Saints were without Ruiz, their best, one of their best offensive linemen. I think their best offensive lineman out at guard. They were also without their Swiss Army knife and Taysom Hill, who does everything and keeps you a bit more honest in the backfield when he's back there. So they were without some dudes who could have absolutely helped that run game out, but they still had Alvin Kamara. And I think when you look at teams who the Saints have lost to, I think you'd find that Alvin Kamara's been held in check.
Yes.
11 carries last night, 20 plus yards. He certainly didn't have 30. And that's a testament to that Chiefs run defense. I will say, when the first drive, I think it was, when he cuts back across the field, and it's a 30-yard run, but it only went for like 11 or 12 yards. I was like, oh, it's going to be one of these type games for Kamara. Kamara's going to run all over this defense. And no, the Chiefs did a really good job against him. They did a good job against Derrick Henry. They did a good job against Dobbins and the Chargers. This Chiefs run defense is good.
And Derek Carr is an enigma to a degree. He can't do the short. He cannot complete short, accurate passes.
Correct.
He can't.
That's what he is. And that's why you need Alvin Kamara in that run game to pop off.
And
that's
when it's not, it exposes it even further. And Derek Carr did leave the game in the fourth quarter. Oblique something. We'll see. Jake Haener came in to relieve.
Who the hell is that?
Jake Haener?
Yeah.
Come on, you know who Jake Haener is.
Oh, okay.
You know the Jake Haener.
Oh, yeah. Now that you keep saying
you know
it like
the
that,
Jake Haener, former
Jake
quarterback
Haener.
at Fresno State. Fresno
Of course I know that. That's the quarterback you guys want the Tigers to be playing.
You know
against.
DJ Haener, 4th round pick in 2023.
Oh, I forgot he went. I thought he went in the third.
Come on.
They got a steal in the 4th round.
They sure did.
With who's this guy again?
Jake Haener.
With Jake Haener.
Put some respect, but the opportunity would be for Spencer Rattler. He didn't come in last night.
That?
Spencer Rattler.
Who's that?
The quarterback. He played for Oklahoma. You know who Spencer Rattler is. Get out of here. Stop it. Anyway, I feel bad for the city of New Orleans.
Oklahoma. I would have stared at South Carolina and then worked my way back to Oklahoma.
True. I always think of Spencer Rattler as the Oklahoma quarterback. That's where my brain goes with him. I will say I feel bad for the crime in New Orleans because it was at historic lows when Derek Carr was balling out. And now, that's too damn bad.
Murderers.
What will we do?
The murderers looked around and said, oh, wait. Saints are playing and they're winning. We're going to stop murdering people. What happened?
According to Adam Schefter, the New York Jets have fired Robert Saleh.
Really?
Yep.
Really? Didn't want to wait
there
till the end of the
will
season.
be a new head coach for Monday night's game versus the Bills.
Fire him for what? You guys went out there. Did he tell you guys to go out there and get old ass Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers crawling to meet his new coach. That's crazy. I would not have, of all the coaches who could have been fired first this season in the NFL, and I know I have spoken extensively on poor Doug Peterson in Jacksonville, but that is really where I was expecting it to go. But alas, Aaron Rodgers has sent Robert Saleh off into...
I hate that. I like him.
I liked him too.
I like him. But hey, it's a results business, man.
That's crazy.
To quote Mike Tomlin, shout out commissioner, the standard is a standard. Like, we're in a results business. If you don't get the results, you kind of got to go. I would think, though, this is his first year with healthy Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think we can, don't even put it in quotes. It's not a...
But it's just,
with Aaron Rodgers on the field.
With Aaron Rodgers on the field.
Capable of playing games.
And so we're 6 games in, and you don't want to let that play all the way out and see what's going on there? What are they, 2-3, 2-4? I don't know what they're going to do from this point forward.
You can't do Hackett.
That run game.
You can't promote Hackett for the rest of the season because he's not a good coach.
But he's Aaron
Rodgers' buddy.
We
saw this play out in Denver.
He's Aaron Rodgers' guy. They had a bunch of success in Green Bay. That's what led Hackett to get the job in Denver. Why not?
His last viral quote before getting fired was, the NFL is built for chaos. Either the sky is falling or you've got Super Bowl aspirations. There's no in between anymore. Well, you either have Super Bowl aspirations or you're getting fired. So that's the end for Robert Saleh. That stinks.
Jets are 2-3. They're 1 game behind the Bills.
Have you watched the Jets?
They're 1 game behind the Bills, who are sitting there at 3-2 for the top in that division. I understand that.
Have you watched?
I have.
Unfortunately.
But you're telling me that the Jets, they can't get, so they play the Bills.
Their only wins are over the sad Titans and the sad Patriots.
They play the Bills next. Why not wait and see what the team looks like against Buffalo and then say, okay, if we need to pull the plug, we need to pull the plug. They go Bills, at the Steelers, at the Patriots, Texans, at the Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, at the Dolphins, at the Jaguars, right? Like, that's a winnable stretch of games sitting there in front of you. If you jump up and bite the Bills, surprise the Bills, or the Steelers, surprise, one of them, beat the Patriots, beat the Cardinals, beat the Colts, beat the Seahawks. Like, you're
That's
sitting there,
crazy.
1 game, 2 games over 500, and that's a good place
Hey,
to
Bill
be.
Belichick.
What?
Do you want to come coach the Jets for the rest of the
Well,
season? Do you want to?
that would be
Do
fun.
you want to come?
That would be fun.
Can I
Because
interest you?
He is one of those vengeful, spiteful
Bill
asses.
Belichick, welcome back to the AFC East, baby.
He wants to go out there and stick it to the Patriots.
And
Oh,
they
that would be
could
good.
still be getting. Well, this is actually the
Stick it
timing
to
of
the
this is
Patriots
fascinating.
and stick it to the Dolphins, because the Dolphins is why Tom Brady left.
Exactly. Devontae Adams still up in the air. He was supposed to be on the Kay Adams show this morning, and she said that appearance was being moved and alluded to something maybe coming down the pipeline today as it pertains to Devontae Adams. And so now we will see if in the same day the Jets could fire Robert Saleh and perhaps get Devontae Adams, which we liken to a struggling couple having a baby to save a marriage. Everyone in the Jets organization seems to hate each other at the moment, so now you've cut off the head, and we'll see if there is potential. But I would love to see Bill Belichick with a spicy return to the AFC East after we just talked about that man just wants to coach. He doesn't want to have to pop up on the Manning cast and explain things anymore to all of us dumbos.
They've got to do it wrestling style also.
Yes.
Right? Like pre-tape something on the Manning cast to make us believe that he's not there. And then it's like, oh, the Jets don't have a head coach. Wait a second, what's that? And then the music starts playing and Bill Belichick comes out in the Patriots hoodie, and then just takes it off and unveils a Jets hoodie and then walks to the sideline.
That's Bill Belichick's music.
Oh my God!
My God, that's Bill Belichick's music. Oh, his poor girlfriend. They were spending so much quality time. I'm already writing this into existence. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do some TV Tuesday. We both watched the most recent episode of SNL over the weekend, plus some other shows that we have been interested in. We'll get to it when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Number 9 is going to go into the Raptors this year, and so make sure if you don't have tickets already, go grab those.
Okay, then.
March 15th, you know the night now.
Yo,
Tony Allen,
let's
jersey
go.
retirement night. You got a big-time night, too. A Saturday night against Miami this is a great
Yeah,
one.
that's lit. That's lit, man. Big shout out.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
The home dogs are barking. How about the Minnesota Vikings? Home dog the last 2 weeks. They've been a dog in all 3 games this season. They're 3-0, winning by 22, winning by 6, and winning by 27. Dominating their opponent, dominating the point spread, 3-0 against the number. And then they're a dog again this week, aren't they? At Green Bay. 2.5 point dog at Green Bay.
They are dogging it.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Is Ja Morant the player in the NBA with the most approved going into this season?
Ja Morant is one of the best players in the world. He's one of the best players in the world.
On the court, there is no question, barring injury, that what Ja Morant is.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What do you think about this matchup against the Pirates and the Bison?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is who in the hell put Gus Johnson as the notable alumni selection when we got Kamala Harris right now that's more relevant? It's 28 people I would have named before I would have got the Gus Johnson.
My assumption is, Mike, Hampton will find a way to come up again. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle, with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Okay, what if Bill Belichick became the head coach of the Jets just to spite the Jets and work on further tearing them apart from the inside out? Because Bill Belichick has always said F the Jets.
Because of Spygate. Was that man genius who
I believe
did the snitching on Spygate?
There was something where like Bill Belichick completed a trade with every single team in the NFL at some point except for the Jets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this could be like the ultimate, 1, gets to coach again, 2, burn it all down. or could just show how much he desires to return to coaching to take that opportunity. Anyway, we will continue to see how that plays out. It is Tuesday. On Tuesdays, we do a little TV Tuesday, what we're watching, the news from the TV world. I assume you watched the second episode of SNL of the 50th season over the weekend. I did as well. The host was Nate Bargatze. It's like his second time hosting in the last year, and Nate Bargatze just rolled through Memphis last year. Chris now, because he came on my husband's show over at Le Bonheur Children's Hospital with Seacrest Studios, and Nate Bargatze came to that show. Chris considers Nate Bargatze a personal friend. I don't think Nate Bargatze considers Chris a personal friend, but we as a family are friends with Nate Bargatze, and he was so good to the kids over there, and we were able to go to his show and really enjoyed it. I like him. I think he's funny. I love that he shouted out the Vanderbilt win at the end of the show, the anchor down. And ultimately for me, though, the 3 things I should say, that stood out the most, the cold open, they have something great going with Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris and Andy Samberg as Doug, and most importantly, Dana Carvey as Joe Biden. Like, Dana Carvey as Joe Biden is one of my favorite things to laugh at right now. Like, if we're keeping track of things that have made me laugh to where I'm coughing or have like light tears in my eyes because I'm generally affected by the humor, it's this.
The ice cream cone thing.
So good.
And that's one of those things that happens on accident. But the ice cream cone was
But then they keep going with it.
It was good stuff. You have to.
Come on. What do you mean? As I always say, like, Dana Carvey's so good with impressions, and I just find him funny, period. Like, long live Master of Disguise. I know he has a million more important roles in his life, but that will always be the most important to me. But between that and Jim Gaffigan as Tim Walz and Bowen Yang's the MVP of SNL. They are rolling him out in
right now
everything.
And as well they should.
Everything.
He is funny.
He's a star.
Yeah.
I've started listening to his podcast a little bit more, and he's funny on that too. He's just a funny guy, and they know that, like, when SNL knows they have lightning in a bottle with someone, they go all in, and that's what they're doing with Bowen Yang. Like, this is the season of Bowen.
No, absolutely it is. Absolutely. And to think about where he came from, because everybody starts sort of the same way as, like, oh, why is that person's name not in the opening credits, right? Because Bowen Yang's name didn't used to be up there. I would say like 4 or 5 seasons ago, but then it's like, okay, people leave. He works his way into a full-time like member of SNL, and has just made the most of every single opportunity that he had. It was another one of those episodes of SNL for me where it was like, okay, this isn't for me. I don't get everything. I will say though, a buddy of mine sent me the George Washington skit, the very first skit that they did. I was like, hey, hold on. He sent it to me on Sunday morning. He's like, wait, I hadn't watched it yet. I'll watch it, and then I'll talk to you about it. I like to watch them all in their totality. And, that was some good stuff. That was grade A work.
They did that when Bargatze was there last time, too.
Did they?
So this is the second time they've done it. And I think it's a great bit.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't get old.
No.
We did the stupidest things with the American language.
It's perfect.
It's so dumb.
Wonderful.
I do like that skit. What stood out to me, other than, like, Bowen Yang is everything at the moment, I think they have 2 real stars on their hands. And one of them is Marcelo Hernandez. And his big skit this week was the spoofing of the Spanish variety show. He jumps off the screen for me. He's been 2 years, maybe 3 max. He's one of the younger players on the show, and I think he's really funny. The other one is Jane Wickline, who do you know who Jane Wickline is?
No.
So she's the one who keeps doing the songs on Weekend Update.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And give me your response.
No.
She's a star.
Okay.
And that's the difference. No. But I think there were a lot of people who saw that and were like, that's not funny. I don't get that. But Jane Wickline came from I don't want to like boil her down to being a TikTok comedian because she had like a traveling like musical comedy show. She's been in the comedy space for a long time. She just became uber popular on TikTok to the point where that is probably like the difference maker that got her boosted into the SNL stratosphere. And they have long said that if Lorne Michaels really likes you, like early on, you'll be on Weekend Update. And she's now been on Weekend Update the first 2 weeks with a song in both cases, and she brings out her little piano. I love her. I think she's adorable, and I think she's really funny and really smart. But I've saw a lot of people be like, I don't get this. I don't understand this. And that's what SNL is. Like, just because not every skit is for everyone. Yeah. Not every piece of comedy is for everyone. But I think because she's popped up on Weekend Update, like they have big plans for Jane Wickline, which is an interesting thing to watch as the season continues.
We've talked about SNL a lot, and my stance on it is like some of that stuff is for me, some of it isn't. Yeah. If it's not, I'm not gonna hate on it.
Right.
But like it's just an acknowledgement that hey, I don't find this funny. But good for her, good for them, and good for the people who like her brand of funny. The dinner sketch where they're eating, I thought Bergassi did give three good sketches.
George Washington.
George Washington. I thought the dead guy at the top of the...
Jane Wickline was in that too.
She was fine in that. And the dinner party. I thought those were great. It also made Boeing Yang laugh. And anytime we can get those types of people breaking character,
it's good.
It's good. It's good stuff there.
I agree.
I thought that you were going to mention who was the chick doing the eating in that scene. Why am I blanking on her name?
What's her name?
But
It's really gonna bug me.
I think she's like next in the funny female comedians who come from SNL, like Poehler and
Tina Fey,
and
Kate McKinnon.
I think she's in that vein of funny. I love her. Whenever she's in a sketch, I perk up a little bit because I know she's gonna give me something good.
Yeah, she is funny. Next week is Ariana Grande and your favorite Stevie Nicks.
I can't wait to hear him.
Just like a one-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. That song played in my yoga class yesterday. I said, it's not one-winged dove, it's white-winged dove. Did you guys know that? I didn't say that because yoga is a place for silence and peace. All right, what we are watching
I need to come with you to yoga then, get you to shut the hell up.
It's great. I fall asleep every time. At the end, they're like, I don't know what the pose is called. I'm just going along with it. Like, they don't explain anything. I feel like I accidentally joined, like, advanced yoga, and so I don't know half the stuff. They're like, half pigeon. I'm like, I don't know what a half pigeon is, but that's like when your leg is like bent in front of you and you're like laying down. I can't even do that. My body doesn't even go in half the positions. You're on the ground and like this leg is like this. I was gonna lay on the table, but that felt inappropriate. You're gonna do it. You're gonna lay on the table. I don't know if we can show you. Okay, so get up.
So I'm on the table.
Yeah, you're on the table. Okay, but one of your legs is gonna come like in front.
What do you mean, in front where?
In front of this.
Okay. In front of this?
Hold on.
Jessica, like, my leg is I can't do that. What are we doing here? How does this work?
Like this.
Okay,
that's inappropriate.
So like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then like that.
So this is a pigeon?
Yeah, you.
I'm pigeoning? Come pigeon with us, Roser. Roser, right here. Right there on that side of the desk. Come on, have pigeon.
Okay, Yogi Roser's gonna have pigeon as well. You can still do a half pigeon. Okay, then show me because I don't know what it is every time they tell me to do it.
You get downward dog.
Okay.
You're gonna go leg up.
I cannot.
Okay.
Leg under.
Oh.
Oh yeah, my bad. I thought that's what you were doing.
You go back.
Yeah, but then you sit. Oh, you're flexible.
You gotta cross back.
You're both. I can't do that. My body does not physically go into that position.
Oh.
It does not.
Jessica, what the hell were you having me do?
I have to use a block because I don't have the flexibility.
You can move the leg up. That'll get a stretch back there. You feel that stretch?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
But you
so that's
you
half
shouldn't
pigeon.
be stressing that bad.
I'm just yelling because
you should be able to.
I feel it.
That's half pigeon. Yeah, it hurts. Anyway, then I like the part where we lay on our back and just fall asleep. That's my favorite part of yoga.
I think you're doing yoga wrong.
No, I'm not. My body does not move in that position.
So, Rosa, back.
This is too much of a shot.
Over.
I can't. I cannot.
See, we did a little work on that half pigeon. We did a little work, but that's all right.
My half pigeon is the worst.
We all start somewhere.
This is too much. This is too much. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Roser.
Thank you, Roser. Thank you, Yogi Roser. I have yet to be graced with Roser in one of my yoga classes. It bums me out. I keep waiting for the day he just like pops up because we go to the same studio. We go to the same yoga studio. You know, a lot of the people around here go to the same yoga studio. How did we get to yoga? Oh, they were playing Stevie Nicks, who's going to be the musical guest on next week's SNL. I finished the rom-com show. Nobody Wants This. It was perfect. I loved it. I enjoyed it deeply. I hope there's a sequel. It has a happy ending, and that's a beautiful place to be. I'm also watching some show about Rome, whose name I can never remember. It's on Peacock. Sir Anthony Hopkins is on it. We're watching it to support a friend because the friend is awesome. One of the best writers, one of the best up-and-coming writers in all of television, Alex Carmodel.
Get the friend on the show?
And he wrote season 5, yeah.
He wrote episode 5.
Episode 5, not season 5. There's only been one season.
Let's get him on the show.
We should sometime. He's so funny. He was Chris's best man. Wrote a hell of a speech.
Oh.
Made everyone laugh. No one ever is like, God, your wedding was so great because of you guys. Everyone's always like, oh, the best part of your wedding was the best man speech. What's he doing now? He's writing for this show. Something they're all gonna die. That's literally what it's called.
Something they're all gonna die.
Okay, well, I'm finding the name of the show. What are you watching right now before we go?
Penguin. I started the Penguin, so I finished the first 2 episodes of that. It's a little slow for me, but I do like the way that they are highlighting the weaselish nature of the Penguin.
Okay.
Right, the backstabby nature. The reason why nobody respects the Penguin is because it's very clearly, he has no code of ethics. And there's supposed to be a code amongst these mob bosses, and Penguin's not abiding by it. I think that's pretty good. I'm enjoying seeing I think they call her the Hangman, Falcone's daughter, I do believe is who she is. She's either Falcone's or Maroney, their daughter, one of the daughters in that family. But yeah, I enjoy seeing her growth and development. And I'm pretty sure she's gonna go batshit crazy and at a certain point. I'm still making my way through How to Die Alone. It's Insecure, but for New Yorkers. That's what it is. I'm like 4 episodes in. It's like, oh, okay.
That's what this is.
You're Issa now. I got you. I follow.
We're 2 episodes into How to Get Away with Murder. We're 3 into Those About to Die. Not We're All About to Die. It's Those About to Die. And its title is a reference to the Latin gladiatorial greeting made to the emperor at the games. Ave Caesar, morituri te salutant. Hail Caesar, those about to die salute you. It was crazy. Rome was crazy. The Colosseum was crazy. They just put they had to fight to the death. Did you know they had tigers?
They didn't fight to the death.
Did you know they had tigers?
Yes.
I don't know why.
They had a whole bunch of exotic animals.
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew that somewhere, but I don't think about that often.
The Roman Empire stretched
like
pretty far, certainly through Central Asia.
Not just Rome. It's not just Rome.
Yeah, so certainly through Central Asia. And if you're in Central Asia, you're right next door to tigers. They're around. Yes. And so you probably have relationships with the neighbors just outside your borders. Like, hey, look at these cool ass cats that we have here. So yeah, tigers and lions, elephants. Yeah.
Anyway, they're in the show too. It's a show.
All right.
I'm getting to, my friend wrote episode 5, so I cannot wait for episode 5 to get here so that I can support him fully in all of his endeavors. That's it. It's Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow. The WNBA playoffs return tonight. It is the last game of the semifinals because it is Lynx Sun Game 5. Winner advances to take on the New York Liberty in the WNBA finals. Who is your pick tonight? Sun, Lynx?
Sun.
I'm taking the Lynx.
Sun.
We'll see who's right tomorrow morning. We'll be back. D'Angelo Williams will join us. It'll be a fun Wednesday as always. We'll see you then. Bye.
You did a terrible job describing Fidget.
This is my issue.